We can get into the nitty gritty.
Epstein's Island.
Yeah, those are all great. Those are all like
Key topics.
like little side quest topics. I want to get into like what you do specifically. I want to talk about what it is, what you do. I know you don't work a 9 to 5, right?
No.
Not in particular, but you do DoorDash, correct? Yeah. And I know you do something with cars, like you hustle cars.
Yeah, I like to hit the auctions and stuff like that. So I like to go to online auctions, and in-person auctions are cool, but I feel like they're a little outnumbered nowadays. There's like a lot more people there, so the online auctions are a little bit less popular from people right now. But yeah, I mostly DoorDash and hit car auctions. I'm always online looking on like websites. Like I have different websites that I can buy like jewelry from and like furniture from and stuff like that. So anytime I get on like those websites when I'm just like chilling, say like DoorDash is slow or something, and I'm just chilling, smoking a joint, I'll hop on those websites and see what auctions are on. See what they got going on this month or this week. You know what I mean? Sometimes they'll throw on like last minute auctions. There's only like 24 hours to bid on stuff. There's no preview. There's no, like, you know what I mean? You just read the description, and that's it. So you're just kind of, like, playing with fire.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's pretty cool.
Is it like a gamble?
Definitely. A lot of auctions are very much gambles. But what's cool about, like, the one that I use mostly is you get a preview. So, like, there's one day. Sometimes it's 2 hours. Sometimes it's 4 hours. But you go down to the preview day, and you go in and you hop in the cars. You can try and start them. Battery's usually dead. Bring a junk box with you. It'll start if it runs. Sometimes it'll say it runs and drives, but you put it in gear and it barely moves, you know? So, like, that's why the previews are key.
Mm-hmm.
Because it runs, yeah. It drives, yeah. But drives.
How often do you do this? Every week?
Previews, I'll go to previews.
Well, how often do you, hustle cars?
As often as I can.
Every week?
I'd say the most frequent I flip cars like 2 to 3 weeks, because it's like sometimes.
How much do you make within like a month? Are you able to like get by with your bills and everything?
Yeah, like that's basically what I like. Sometimes I come out with like really good profits in some months, and some months it's, you know what I mean, like really really slow. You know what I mean, and I gotta work my ass off on DoorDash, because DoorDash is like a for sure payment. Like regardless of what, you know what I mean, like what's going on in your life, if you activate that app, you know what I mean. Like my girlfriend has Amazon. She's on that Amazon Flex, but she just started a new job now, so it's like a kind of like a 9 to 5, but it's she works her own hours, so it's pretty convenient for her and us.
Yeah.
So.
Is she a medical assistant?
Yeah, she is an MA, but she's working at it's like a med spa.
So it's not like a doctor's office?
No, it's not like
totally different, huh?
Yeah, it's like, it's definitely different, for sure.
Interesting.
It's like where you go to get like Botox and lip injection.
Oh, Botox. What is that?
Botox?
Yeah.
It's mostly what, like, well, from what I thought, you know what I mean? Mostly old people use it, like when you have wrinkles. It fills in those wrinkles, tightens up your face so you don't look so old, you know what I mean? But yeah, like a lot of younger people use it too to get rid of, you know what I mean, like if they have little kinks right here that they don't like, or on their forehead, you know what I mean? Like some people don't like the way it looks, so you could just go in and fill them in. It's pretty interesting. Like lip injections, like I don't know how people do it. I can't really fuck with needles.
No.
I'm not a big needle person.
All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You're tuning in to another episode of the Ambitious Writers Podcast. I would like to start off by giving a huge shout out to everyone watching right now. Thank you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. That was pretty sweet. All right. I want to leave you with a little thing. I gotta emphasize. If you have a dream, chase it. And I'll just let those words sit. They may seem just little few words, or they may be something you think about for the next few hours or few days, you know? Look yourself in the mirror and kind of go there, you know? And I'll just leave it there. All right. This is my first time doing this, so bear with me. My guest today is a good description of the words ambitious writer. I first met this guy working for a door-to-door solar company. As I got to know him a little more, I know me and him would be great friends, as you see today. I originally wanted to have Clemente and Carlos Casillas. I'm going to throw his last name because, I mean, he's another ambitious writer on at the same time. Since Carlos couldn't make it, I told Clemente, if you have another ambitious writer, we won't get into that, bring him on. He wanted to be on. I don't know. Plans change. That's okay. I'm glad you're on. This man hasn't worked a 9 to 5 that I know of for a while now. I couldn't really tell you in years or like a description, but I can tell you that I say ambitious writer because he's very ambitious and he has a drive to not want to work for anybody else but himself. So, with that being said, Clemente Valenzuela, correct? All right. Valenzuela.
Yep.
Thank you for being on.
Thank you for having me.
How was that?
That was a great introduction. Thank you very much.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me today. I'm a bit excited to be on.
Awesome. How old are you? Let's start there.
I'm 27 years old.
Okay.
Born and raised in Pueblo.
Good. Nice. What do you think about Pueblo?
Pueblo is a very interesting place to live. I mean, if you're from Pueblo, it's, you can kind of like see what everything is about if, you're not like blinded by a lot of other obstacles that a lot of people are blinded by, like politics or religion and all that other good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But Pueblo is definitely a risky place to live. I mean, I would not suggest raising a child here. I mean, unless you have generations of family living here, I would not suggest, just packing up and moving on into Pueblo.
Okay. Are you speaking from experience?
I mean, I guess you could say so, because, I mean, I have a lot of family,
because
from Pueblo.
I think differently of Pueblo.
Yeah, Pueblo, I mean, like, it's different for a lot of people, because a lot of people have different experiences. But if you look to what's like repetitive, I guess you could say, and what's so common here, it's just, I feel like it's just too much of a risk, like it's just dangerous living here.
So you moved to Denver, correct?
Yeah.
Is it any different than Pueblo? Go ahead.
That's what's funny that you asked that, because I've had this conversation before with someone else, and I honestly say it's risky to live everywhere. Like, the world we live in now is risky in itself. It's kind of like you just have to pick your poison. Like, which one's not as risky as this, or which one's more riskier than that, It's a difficult world we're living in nowadays, because, like, the stuff you see in Pueblo is crazy, and then, you can go cross country and see the same exact thing going on,
I mean, not to be, like, political or just focused on the news, but it kind of is the older generation's still source of media. So speaking on that, I was just at my grandparents for a few days last week, and I mean, they're always watching the news, as the older folks do. Anyways, the amount of shootings on TV being reported in general is almost, if not every day. And it's very bizarre, very wild to think.
You're talking about Pueblo, right?
Yeah, Pueblo, Colorado, the nation.
Oh, the nation
I'm
itself.
talking
yeah, of
about
course.
Pueblo, yeah, but the
you're
nation
talking
in
about-
general,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
Pueblo
shootings in
is
general,
getting
yeah.
I do see more news about Pueblo on the news of of shootings and all that, but I am talking about nationwide, but Pueblo is increasing. Pueblo's a part of that, Colorado and nationwide. You hear Colorado Springs. I hear like other northern places too. You know what I'm saying? Just random stuff. But I mean, it does happen anywhere you go.
It's pretty crazy in Aurora. I hear some people say it's nice there. You know what I mean? It's like certain areas of each like general like city, I guess you could say, because that's how I feel like Denver is. It's like I feel like Denver's like a state, and it's each like neighborhood is like its own like city. Because there's like Inglewood, Lakewood, Littleton.
Very true.
There's you know what I mean. There's Arvada, Aurora. You know what I mean. There's like so many different counties. Like it's crazy. But like like I live in Inglewood, and they call it Englehood. Apparently, never knew that because when I moved into a nice apartment complex that was pretty close to the police station. So I never really had to experience anything like car break-ins, or I never seen nothing like super exciting like that. And like everyone's like, oh, how's it like living there? And I'm like, pretty nice. Pretty nice.
Do you still live there?
Yeah,
Okay.
Still live there.
How long ago did you move to Denver?
A little over a year ago today.
Really?
I moved at the beginning of January last year.
Nice.
Yeah, we were actually planning on moving at the beginning of the year, like New Year move, you know what I mean? And we caught COVID right after Christmas. I think it was from the Christmas party because there was a lot of us at Christmas that year. So, yeah, we caught COVID, and then we moved, like, I want to say, like 5, 6 days, 7 days after the New Year's. Packed up and headed out. Pretty fun move, though.
Congratulations on that new year and that whole year of just doing your own thing, man.
Yeah, it was pretty nice.
That is sweet. What kind of person would you describe yourself? You touched on it a little bit when you were speaking on living in Pueblo, and kind of just putting yourself in, like, I don't know, maybe I just heard different, but kind of setting yourself apart from, the other crowd in the community and doing your own thing. Could you say you have a different point of view on what other people think in the community or in general?
I mean, if you're talking about like in Pueblo, like wise, you're saying like how I feel about Pueblo.
All right, that was like 3 different questions.
Yeah, I was gonna say like
in one.
be a little bit more specific.
Let's start with number 1. What kind of person would you describe yourself as?
I would say exciting, and like I guess you could say like a gambler, like not like as in like
I like
betting money
gambler.
on like like I recently actually just dabbled in, this is a little short side story, I just dabbled in on the betting on like that FanDuel and stuff like that.
Yeah,
never
like,
really did that before.
Is that fantasy football type stuff?
It's like if you want to bet on like a football game on
Okay.
or NBA game, or hockey, or any type of like sports, you could bet on those apps. And I just recently started doing that, but I'm not really like a gambler. I just gamble on like life is what I mean. I don't necessarily gamble on like money wise. I gamble in life in general, because like when you go to a non 9-to-5 life, it's a gamble in itself. You don't have a set paycheck. Like when when I was doing that job with you, it wasn't a set paycheck. You know what I mean? Like I guess I could say you're a gambler as well, because you took that job on. It wasn't a for sure paycheck. You know what I mean? You were ready to, put the the, I guess you could say, the pedal to the metal. You were like,
that's good. I'm glad you say that. As far as like, you kind of say, so what you're saying is you set yourself like apart from other people. You try to be. It's not really, a gambler is a good word to describe it, but then you bring me in and whole different story. See, I have my own thing, and I'm not necessarily a gambler. I like that word, but I do take risk, a lot of risk for what I'm doing at my age, which is, pretty risky, but it all goes into having that dream, just having that goal, having that mindset. I mean, I guess I don't know. Do you want to say like so do you set yourself apart from, like the average mindset? I mean, the average, yeah, 9 to 5 mindset, because most people are like, well, they can go two ways, they want the best for you. They want you to go like get a job that has benefits and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So as a 27-year-old kind of doing your own thing, I bet do you feel like, what do you feel like? A whole bunch, because I have like a lot of emotions, like I go through like every day, like every week. So do you feel like kind of you have a whole world on your shoulders at some points too in your life?
All the time. When, you know what I mean, you don't have a for sure paycheck coming at the end of the week, or within 2 weeks or whatever, and you're not 100% sure that you're gonna be making money every day or every other day or every week. It's definitely heavy on your shoulders, because it's not easy. But when you work like a 9 to 5, sometimes it feels like that's like the world's on your shoulders too. You know what I mean? And it shouldn't feel like that. I feel like like when you're just like going 9 to 5. You know what I mean? Like just going home. Eating your dinner, going to bed, waking up, doing it all over. Repetitive over and over. Like, where do you have like your free time? Like half the time you might have to work overtime. You know what I mean? Because someone didn't show up or whatever. Someone walked off. But like, I feel like the world isn't always fair, even if you are working like the way they say you should work, or living the way they say you should live. And like, I don't know. I feel like if you're gonna struggle, you might as well struggle on your own terms, not on someone else's terms. Like, and if you're gonna have success, then you're gonna have success. Like, life is a gamble, I feel like, in itself. So like, if you're not a gambler, I feel like life is going to be a little bit either difficult or super fixed for you. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to have to be like, you mess up like one time, you're going to mess up like the whole thing. You know what I mean?
I do.
So like, it's difficult to like live life 100% straight, like 9 to 5. You know what I mean? And you can't do like anything really fun most of the time, like, because you're working, or you can't smoke weed because you might lose your job. Or, you know what I mean? Like, you can't afford weed because it's too expensive, because all the taxes we have to pay on it. Like,
so much goes into it.
It's like, life. I feel
It
like
is life. It's like playing the game of life.
Yeah.
It's
exactly.
like, but there's certain aspects to that, because that's just a game and this is real life. So there's a big difference. This, you have the choice to end life with a mansion and maybe a car and a kid, or just a little car and a boat, whatever you want to do. But you're gonna have to go through life's like trials. Like there's
Exactly.
that's how I feel. It's like I'm growing. We're all growing as we go through them. It sucks now, but I feel there's parts of it that I enjoy genuinely, and then that influences those negative parts where it's like, I don't like feel so much as I do about my other part of my life, but I feel I'll be okay, because if I can get through that and kind of enjoy these moments and be calm and collective in those moments, I feel I can use those in those situations too. Like, it'll just balance itself out eventually. Depends how much work you put into it too.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if it's something that you put a lot of work into, it's going to be a lot more difficult. But if it's something that you just barely, dabble into, something happens, it's not easy. Or I guess I could say it is easier to, like, just kind of cut your losses and move on, or invest a little bit harder work and see what you go from there. You know what I mean? But, yeah, I mean, life is definitely an experience for sure, because, like, I've seen a lot of different people live, like, crazy lives. And I just...
Growing up throughout your life?
Yeah.
Just being around different people in your life?
Yeah, I guess I could say I was around a lot of people growing up.
Have you done anything like growing up that made you make a decision, like a really big decision in your life to make better choices? Because I know you. We've spoke a little bit. You told me about your past.
Yeah.
I don't really know too much about your past. That's why I'm asking right now. So, do you mind if we get into that? Do you care at all?
I don't mind at all. I honestly feel like it's kind of like public knowledge. Like,
I agree.
you know,
More
like,
people hear about it and know what's going on.
once you do something and you get in trouble for it, it's like super public knowledge. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So like I had like a life changing experience when I was younger.
What did you do growing up that was negative, and then that made you make that decision in your life to change your life?
Well, when I was younger, I made a crazy decision to start messing with pills. So that like completely messed up my life, just like it does to everybody that messes with
Did
pills.
you sell them or did you just do them?
I did them a lot, like but yeah, like I didn't like sell them like drastically or anything like that. But yeah, I mean just to kind of like just support my habit,
Mm-hmm.
But
Did you have any other hustles outside of that? Like, was Clemente always a hustler growing up, or did you work a 9 to 5 at all?
When I was younger, I tried to work a 9 to 5, but it didn't really feel right with me even then. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't last very long, and I just kind of just forgot about it. But I always like had a hustle for cars. Like
Mhm.
I've sold cars since I was 12 years old. So
Mhm.
like that was always like my go-to hustle because like it was easy. My dad always, you know what I mean, helped me find cars and helped me buy cars,
Mm-hmm.
and then he'd help me fix them and get them ready to sell them for more than what we got them for.
Okay.
So that was
Nice.
like my biggest main like hustle that like I've ever done,
Mhm.
because my dad is the one that taught me that
Mm-hmm.
since like young, and that's what I do nowadays still, because I feel like cars are just they're always going to be around, and like
In some way, shape, or form, there's
they're always going to be around.
Mhm. I believe so too. Cars are not going nowhere.
Yeah,
Even
exactly.
if they become flying cars, imagine that. Hustling flying cars.
That would be pretty fucking crazy.
Would you do it?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I've sold my first bus just recently.
A bus.
Yeah, fucking city bus.
A city bus.
Yep.
How did that deal come into your hands?
It went through the auction.
The auction.
Yep.
No way.
Yeah.
You
was
found it
pretty
at the auction
and
and
I guess
decided.
everybody
hey,
was afraid to buy it or something because I got it for a killer deal, and
What was the deal?
I can't explain
Okay.
exact numbers.
After the
But-
podcast?
It was a killer deal, and I made a pretty good profit on it, so it was pretty cool. Me and my dad had fun with that one. Cause,
You and your dad were in the deal?
oh yeah, my
Are you
dad's
pretty
always
close with your dad?
yeah, he's
Okay.
always in on the deal with when it comes to cars.
Like
and,
that?
yeah,
He's like, hey, son, I have this bus.
like what's funny
You're
is
like, say less, Dad.
shit's funny, but yeah, like we bought a lot of crazy stuff, like just like a lot of crazy cars and trucks.
I know,
and-
like RVs. I don't even know. That's the only thing that comes to mind when I think, because I know you're not like as on social media as probably you are like actually doing stuff, and when you are on social media, I don't know. But I see the stuff you do post on, social media, like, hey, this is for sale. That's like every so often. I don't know what you're doing outside of that. I don't know, because you can probably go really far with social media. If you're like every day, like, hey,
yeah, I've had
this
people
car's here.
message me like from like pretty far states, like just recently.
why
Some-
though? Like are you willing to travel to a far state just for a car?
I mean, I'll deliver any type of car, truck, SUV for the right price. I mean,
you're right.
all you have to do is put a deposit. You know what I mean? I can't just go based off your word. Hey, bring
That's
it on
very
over and
true.
I'll take it.
Think it.
I always
Think
tell
about
everybody, you got to put a deposit because, I mean, going out of state, going out of town is already a hassle, let alone going out of state.
it. Yeah.
So, like, I had this lady message me just recently about a camper I'm selling for my dad. And she's in California. And she was like, can I put a deposit down? Come pick it up in May. And I'm like, interesting. In May, you're going to come in springtime, huh? I'm like, well, we're gonna have to discuss what kind of deposit, because that's a long time. I could have it sold a long time before that, So, yeah, that's something like interesting that I was like, who buys a camper, from Colorado if you live in California? And then
I agree.
yeah, it's just
It's
interesting.
wild.
There's
Very
always
interesting.
people from far distances like messaging me about different cars, different trucks. It's just life. Because when you sell cars, you go through a lot of experiences. Like when I got that bus, it was pretty damn crazy.
That's sweet. So, you set yourself apart from other individuals, the average person working like a hustle or a 9 to 5, obviously. What age were you when like you were able to start kind of sustaining that hustle and that lifestyle where you were able to like keep on top of your bills and everything else?
Well, I mean, I've been doing it for a long time. Like when I got in trouble, I had to get a 9 to 5 because I was in the community corrections. So I had to have a 9 to 5 that was like a for sure paycheck, at certain days out of the week I was, working. So I worked those I was in the halfway house, was what they call community corrections, for 2 years, a little over 2 years. And it was hell of a 9 to 5 because, I mean, like when you're in the halfway house, they got you on a leash, but I mean, a leash long enough to hang yourself, So if you get in trouble, you just back to jail and to prison for however long they want to send you, So when I was in the halfway house, I had to work like as much as possible just so I could stay out of that place because, the halfway house is just, it's like a trap is what I like to call it. It's a setup because there's just people that go there for maybe a few months, but there's people that are sentenced there for years, So some of those people are actually, they care about their lives, they have a few years, they have to be as good as possible for as long as possible, and then there's some people that only have a few months. They're like, do whatever I want, you know what I mean? I don't care about the rules and yada, 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 because if they go back, they only have a few months, maybe a year or two they don't care about, But like me, it was like the first time I ever like got like a real conviction on my life. So I was in the halfway house and I was just like, I'm trying to be as straight as possible because if I go back, they're going to try and send me back for a really long time. And I was not trying to go to prison for a really long time. Mm-hmm. So I shot a straight arrow as long as possible. And I wriggled through that place, like barely wriggled through. But I didn't smoke weed. I didn't do no drugs, you know what I mean? I didn't drink or none of that stuff. Like I was like a straight arrow that whole time I was there. But at one point I had 3 jobs. So like, I was working like 7 days a week, like nonstop, barely even sleeping like maybe 4 or 5 hours, 6 hours a night, Waking up, going to work, getting off of work, go home, shower, maybe snack a little tiny bit, and then go straight back to work. Like, and by home, I mean the halfway house. Like, it was shitty because you don't even want to be in that place. So that's why I was working so many jobs. I was just working, worked at Popeyes, worked at Metro. My buddy got me a job at a body shop, and I was just ping-ponging.
Did you have any money in your pocket, like, after everything being... No.
That's fucking crazy. I need another beer or, like, a water or something. But, yeah, I mean, I made pretty good money. I felt like I was working 7 days a week, But the thing with the halfway house is they make you turn in every single check. Like, every single check you get, you deposit it through them. You sign it.
What for?
So they can monitor your finances.
So they control your money.
Yeah, it's crazy. And what's wild is like all that time, I gave all my checks to them, and then they let you do like this thing called non-res, and you don't have to give them your checks every month, but you still have to like give them a certain amount of money every month, like And after like years down the road, I got hit by like the IRS. They were like, you owe all kinds of money from this year to this year, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting because I was I guess you could say I was like a product of the state or whatever you call it, like they were, how am I supposed to be monitoring my taxes, That was like the first real 9 to 5 that I ever even really worked, So like they were supposed to be the ones like monitoring my finances.
Yeah.
Like I'm giving my checks to them, they should know if I'm going to owe taxes or, like it was crazy. And when I got out of it, like when they actually released me, they're supposed to like cut you like a check of all your savings. And they cut me like the measliest check. Honestly, it was so small I don't even remember how much it was. It was. I was like, oh yeah, I gave you all that money, all those, those years, 2 years, and I don't even get shit back. You know what I mean?
Seriously, like what was that money for that they needed?
Like they
can't give it
just
back.
putting it in their damn pockets.
Exactly.
But that's just another interesting part of my life.
I have 2 questions for you. Did working like 3 jobs at that time, you're working hard, did that make you who you are today as far as your work ethic? Did that help transform your work ethic to what it is today?
I mean, I believe it definitely helped it for sure, because like it taught me like another life lesson is what I like to say. It's like it was just another experience that like everyone has to experience. Sometimes you have jobs for 2 years or 5 years, or sometimes you only have a job for 2 months. Like I did that lifestyle for I want to say at least like 6 months. I had those jobs just going straight. And it was a long 6 months. Like I was like working like a slave, I like to say, because it was just like I was going nonstop, and it was just so I didn't have to be at the halfway house, because that place is just like
it sucked.
Yeah, it was just shitty energy. You know what I mean? It was just being shitty in that place.
Do a lot of people not care about their lives in the halfway house? Do they not care about like the time or like why they're in in the halfway house?
Oh yeah, I'd say at least half of them.
I see a lot of people like in Pueblo. I'm not gonna lie, in Pueblo, that they mention they're in the halfway house and they're still like messing around.
Oh yeah, that's like, because they're part of that 50% at least that don't give a shit. And I mean, some people just they're not not that time in their life
again, or like that's true. It's
not their time of their life.
Older. They're like, dude, they're like.
I've seen people in their 60s and 70s in that place, bro. 60s and 70s. That's the thing. Like, I feel like some people, it's just not their time to care yet. In your 20s, 30s, whatever. But once you're a certain age, I feel like you should probably start caring. But I mean, I guess after 40, 50 years, what the fuck do you have to care about after that? But like, I mean, I always was just like, damn, like, it's crazy, bro. Yeah. The world is crazy though.
Dude, like, that's like a whole. We'll have to get into that. Let me get you something.
Offered me 10 before that. They offered me 10 years before that, bro. And I was like, I might take that 10 years, because I was looking at like a minimum 32 years. So I was like, 10 years has a nice ring to it. It's a lot less than 32. It's a fraction. One would most say.
For robbery? Armed robbery?
Yeah, multiple. So I fucking
like stores or people?
Stores. I never robbed people. I don't like that kind of robbery.
Did you wear masks? Or like...
Yeah, I wore a mask, so they didn't know it was me. One of the reasons why they caught me was, one, somebody eventually seen the getaway vehicle, because I used like the same one in multiple ones, not all of them, but multiple ones. So they got like a kind of description of it. That's when I got pulled over, and then the motherfucker I was with told on me. So that's another reason why, it's just. But it was a life-changing experience is what happened. I had to go through, you know what I mean, a crazy life experience, but it made me who I am today, you know what I mean? And I met a lot of people in jail. And when that fucking judge sentenced me to 4 to 18 years, I was thinking that was 4 to 18, but I didn't realize. Like, I realized it, but I didn't realize it at the time of signing the plea agreement. I was pleading to 2 robberies, so they were going to sentence me twice. So he sentenced me to 8 years on one, and then he sentenced me to 8 years on another. And with the judicial system, you got to love it, they have what you call concurrent and consecutive. Concurrent, when they say, oh, I hereby sentence you to this time for this, whatever, charge. And then I sentence you to this for, this charge and this time. And I hereby order that time to be served consecutively. And consecutively means one after another. Concurrent means at the same time, bro. So if you get sentenced to 5 years and 5 years, and they say, you know, you're gonna serve it consecutively, that's 10 years. Like, you start one serving after the other one has been served, you know? But if they say concurrent, that means you're gonna serve them both at the same time. So you only got 5 years. You got 5 years and 5 years, but 5 years total, because they're gonna both start at the same time, and you got 5 years on both, you know? So I was just like, I was thinking to myself, like, he said 8 years, and I was like, thank God I got 8 years. Whew. Weight lifted off my chest, like, whew. I was feeling good. And he goes in on case number, so blah 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 blah, or charge number, and I was just like, oh shit, there's another sentencing. He goes, I sentenced you to 8 years. I'm like, okay. I'm like, now say concurrent, you know? Now I hereby, you know, sentence you to serve those sentences concurrently. And he said consecutively. That means 8 years, and then I have to start another 8 years. And the charge that I was charged with was violent, because it was aggravated. So that makes it a violent crime. So that means you have to serve 75% or more. And on nonviolent, it's like, I don't even remember, but it's like 30%, 40%, you know? Like, nothing. You get sentenced to 10 years, you could be out in 2.5, 3 years, I feel like. You get sentenced to 10 years aggravated, you're not getting out in anything less than 7.5 years. It's crazy how the judicial system works, bro.
Door-to-door, like, sales. Have you had any other, like, job like that?
Door-to-door sales? No, I've had a lot of job
Or, like,
offers.
sales?
No, not like door-to-door, any type of door-to-door. Like, I've had a few job offers, like, some people try and offer me, like, door-to-door sales, like doing roofing, alarm systems, stuff like that. Solar, again. People have even tried to offer me jobs doing solar again. And I was just like, nah, I'm going to take a little break.
Are there any, like...
Some in Pueblo, some in Spring, some in Denver.
Any good opportunities up in Denver right now?
There was one in Denver that was a good opportunity, but, I mean, I feel like door-to-door is, like, it's just, I don't know why it's so much more difficult than a lot of stuff. Like, you kind of, like, have to be, like, a really good people's person and fit the description. You know what I mean? I don't like to say that, like, you know, it's kind of, like, different for colored people, but I feel like a lot of the lighter-skinned, you know, employees, you know, had a lot of easier experience at the door than, like, the Mexicans or the blacks or any of that. And I'm not, like, one to call, like, a race card or nothing like that, but, like, when you're knocking on someone's door and you see a Mexican or a black guy, like, you're not, and you don't know them, like, regardless of what they're wearing, no matter how good they look, some people are just programmed not to, you know what I mean, accept that conversation or be involved with those people, you know? Like, so it's just, that's why a lot of people don't open their doors. That's why when they do open their doors, they're like, can I help you? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know who you are.
You gotta have a good pitch.
And if you don't look, even when you do look the right, you know, like, profile, it's even sometimes super difficult. Like, just, I feel like door to door is, like, I don't know, more difficult than it is worth it, I feel like.
It is, but I feel like the reward is a lot better than the risk.
I mean, it depends on if you have, like, other sources of income. If you have other sources of income, then it's definitely worth the risk, because the reward is, sometimes it's a pretty good reward, you know what I mean?
What do you mean if you have other sources of income? So
because,
if you're
like,
not doing, like, door-to-door full-time,
yeah,
you're, like, all the time.
Because then you're dependent on sales.
You are.
100%.
Okay.
So if you don't make sales, your bills are getting racked up, you know what I mean? You're behind a month or two, you know?
That does make sense. I feel
So,
you on
like,
that.
if you have another source of income, there's a way where you could stay afloat. You just can't do the extra things that you used to do, you know, when you're having those bad times, you know, those rough patches. Because, you know, you adjust, but you put your key, you know, the key is bills first, and then everything else is second.
Yeah.
But like when you're not making any money, you can't pay bills and you can't have no fun.
Mm.
So I feel like, I don't know.
Yeah, but
Door to door is definitely more difficult than your average 9 to 5.
It is. Did you learn anything from it?
I learned a lot of people skills.
Can you take those people skills, what you learned, into, or I should say, have you taken what you learned from door to door into what you are currently doing?
Yeah, I mean, shit. I DoorDash. You know what I mean? I know how to be nice to people, even when they're rude, and sometimes it still pays out. You know, like sometimes they'll be like, "Oh."
Have you thought about like door to door for like cars? Like if you see something like, hey, like damn, I want to go knock that guy's door and see if he can strike a deal with me for that car.
I mean, I always see people driving cars, and sometimes I'll roll down the window and be like, "Do you want to sell that car?"
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, because it's just a nice car, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they'll just brush me off and just drive off.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they'll actually entertain the offer, like, "What's your offer?" And
What do you tell them?
I usually don't make the first offer. It's kind of like one of my number one rules. Like, I just ask them if they want to sell it. I'm not going to give you a number for it, because what if my number is a lot higher than what you would have taken? You know? Like, then I just screwed myself over a lot more profit.
Mm-hmm.
So I always
That's
like to
true.
let them make the first number.
Mm-hmm.
You throw me a number out there. If it's not an outrageously high number, I might be able to make a deal. But nobody's ever been able to give me a number that's a fair number. When
What's
I'm
a
like,
high number for you?
a high number?
Mm-hmm. So what can you like offer? Can you offer like 10 grand on a good car, or like 20 grand?
I'd say the most I could offer, like on a car that like sparks my interest, is probably around like 10, 15 grand.
How would you do it too? Would you be like, all right, here's like 5 grand now, or like 3 grand now, and then I'll give you the like. What do you do
I've
with
never
the
got a
money?
car on payments before or nothing like
No,
that.
you just did it like
I've had
down.
people offer me cars on payments before though, and
Have you done? So you've just done it like downright. Gave them the cash for the car.
yeah, that's
Oh,
how
okay.
I always get cars.
Okay.
You buy them outright, and then you have the title to them. So
And then you just flip it, or like, do you like work on it, or?
sometimes they run good, sometimes they run all right, sometimes they need a little bit of work, like brakes, tires, Sometimes they need a transmission, motor. But it all just depends on how much you get the car for. Like, if you get it for a good price, it doesn't really matter what it needs. You can get it back on the road, and sell it for, top number. But I always try to sell at, like, decent prices. Every now and then I'll throw it out there at, like, a somewhat high number. But not, like, an outrageously high number or just obnoxiously high number.
I know what you're saying.
Like, some people just think their cars are worth just way too much, And I mean, if you bought this car off the lot and you kept it in the garage its whole life, I don't blame you. You want a good number for it. But if you let your grandkids and your kids drive it to hell, you're not going to get a good number for it, So it's just interesting. You meet a lot of people when you buy cars, because you meet old, young, everyone in between.
I agree.
Especially when you sell it.
So I have a question for you. What would you do if, like, this is just like a crazy hypothetical question, but world shuts down, boom, lights, electricity, cell phones, everything, cyber attack on the United States right now. You feeling me? On the same page?
Yeah.
All right, boom. Psh. Cash is all on in your bank right there, huh? You don't have any cash on you. I don't. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Nope, I use the bank a lot. I'll tell you one thing though. I don't keep my savings in the bank.
Okay.
I do not trust the government enough. They can take your assets at any time they want. They get a judge to sign off on any bullshit warrant or any bullshit investigation that is, has enough leverage to convince a judge to just charge you. I mean, if he thinks it's good enough to convince a jury, then he'll sign off on it. But sometimes if you're in good with the right judge, or however, they'll just sign off on anything you put on their desk, because you're just in good. That's how it works with the system. And once they sign off on that, they could seize everything. They could seize your properties, any type of assets, bank accounts.
Got a good point. What would you do? No, I can't say what would you do. What do you think about like the egg situation going on?
That shit is crazy.
Everything's like really...
The bird flu?
Bird flu?
Yeah.
What about the bird flu?
That's kind of one of the main reasons why the eggs are so expensive, brother.
Really?
The bird flu.
Have you looked into this?
I haven't like dug into it deep, but that's what my source told me.
Okay.
And it's not like a fucking super hyper source. It's just someone mentioned it to me, like the bird flu is what's driving everything up, is what they told me. And I was just like, oh, interesting. I was like, so the bird flu broke out somewhere? And they're like, yeah, one of the biggest chicken factories in the country. So bird flu breaks out. Eggs are no good.
Really?
Yeah.
I love eggs.
Everybody loves eggs. I feel like you don't love eggs. You
hash
just
browns, bacon,
un-American.
pancakes,
Breakfast.
Dude.
Breakfast, best meal of the day.
That
Eat it
is
any time of the day.
The American breakfast right there, ladies and gentlemen. Perfect. Okay. I like that. I love breakfast. Breakfast is so good.
One of my favorite things to do on the weekend is get up and go get breakfast.
Really? On the weekends?
Yep, the weekends mostly.
Dude, what? That's so...
And what's nice is you can go get breakfast at any time. 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. You want to sleep in? Sleep in. Go get breakfast. A little late.
Yeah.
Breakfast is an all-time, meal. You can eat it any time of the day. You eat breakfast in the middle of the night.
Dude, I agree. So, what do you want to get into? I know you were speaking earlier about you have some stuff you kind of want to get off your chest a little bit. Is that right? About your point of view on a few things that's going on.
Yeah. Which ones were you trying to be in
Anything.
specific?
Just throw something out there. And we'll just go from there.
Well, how about fucking Joe Biden's dumbass and his classified documents next to his Corvette?
Dude, the classified doc. So, let me tell you something. Brother. They say this goes back to, of course, Clinton. All of them. It's wild. It is wild. And they're just, now, being on the media. Same with the sheriff's office with Pueblo. That happened 2 years ago. And now it's being on the media. Everybody's involved in it. Same with the
Donald Trump?
Yeah, Donald Trump. I'm sure George Bush,
When they
Ronald
hit
Reagan.
Mar-a-Lago,
Everybody. All of those guys.
everybody just
Why?
takes stuff and they just put it wherever they want.
What's
apparently.
going on with the whole wars? Is the whole war on terror really doesn't it exists and it is not pretty? But does it exist? Why? What's the purpose for it? I mean, obviously,
There's always the sick motherfuckers out there
because
that just want to be sick. You know what I mean?
You got a point.
That's all there is to it. If you
But
wish
do you think the presidents
harm
are involved
upon
in everything that's going on with
9/11?
Yeah.
9/11 more than likely was probably government approved, if I was to guess. I don't know how a plane
Everything's just accurate.
could fly. When you're
right,
flying a
right
plane,
thing at the right time.
they know
right.
exactly where you are, how fast you're going,
Everything.
at what
All
height
the
you're
information
at.
is there.
They saw them flying the planes to New York and flying them towards building. You know what I mean? It's not that difficult. They should
the
have.
right building. It's weird.
I don't see why. You know what I mean? It's kind of cold to say, but I don't see why they didn't shoot the plane down. I mean, you would have been
You would
obviously
think.
killing Americans, but I mean, you wouldn't want fucking as many people dying on 9/11 that died. If you had to make a decision, it's just it's a hard decision, but they should have took those planes out. It's just
Wow.
it's hard to say, but it should be said.
What do you think about? Yeah, I mean, Dude, that's wild. So what do you think about, the concealed documents that the presidents are holding? I spoke my point of view. Go ahead.
Fucking Joe Biden holding some fucking classified documents in his garage next to his Corvette, which was perfectly protected, he said. Pretty interesting. I'm curious as to what the documents, had in them. Like, what kind of classified documents? I feel like the government likes to keep everything a secret.
Exactly. Do you think
it was it's not
information
difficult
about him or about, like, what they're doing, again, with everything?
Honestly, it could be any guess of any type
Dude, he's
of
an old
classified.
man.
Like, he could have had those documents from when he was with Obama. And he, with his dementia ass, forgot about them.
Could be.
Bro, I'm telling you, I bet you any money he's probably like, what
Fuck.
the fuck? I've been looking for those documents for 6 years. And they were in my fucking garage next to my Corvette. He's probably pissed at himself.
He's like, I'm in legal trouble now, guys.
Oh, he's probably
my
like,
God.
fuck. He's probably called. First thing he probably did was pick up the phone, call Obama. Fucking Obama.
Remember those documents?
Barack, you're not going to fucking believe what I just found. The conversation that he fucking had with Obama.
Dude.
If those were there since then, I bet you any money Obama's like, I told you, look next to the fucking vet.
I told you. Jesus.
Oh, fuck. Fucking Biden.
You got a point, dude. I never would have thought of that.
That's the whole point. Like, you never know with the government. Could have been there a few days, could have been there a few years.
Mm-hmm.
You never fucking know.
Do you think Area 51 is where... What do you think about Area 51?
It's probably the realest thing the government's ever fucking spoke about.
I think dude, 100% it's real. Aliens?
Yeah.
I can't speak about it enough, dude.
Oh man, if you don't believe in aliens, you don't have any type of belief at all.
Swear to God.
Because if you think Earth is the only place in the universe with living organisms, you smoke something better than me, my friend. Because come on, like it's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
It is, dude. I speak about it all.
I could see a fucking alien with my own two eyes.
Seriously.
And I would not be surprised.
I don't know what they're doing there, but hey, I want to know.
Right? I'm curious.
I know, but I'm sure I'll probably die.
They say the pyramids were fucking helped constructed by aliens.
You think so?
I wouldn't be surprised. They say that some of the measurements and precise locations, not just the measurements, which took better technology than what we have accessible today to do. They did that by hand, and they put it in specific locations that are geographically located.
Think about it like this. All right, you have a good point. So that was back. Who knows how old the Earth really is, but that was back years ago. Anyways,
Scientists.
aliens have probably been here for who knows how old the universe is, years. So they know what's up with the universe. They have that high tech stuff. You know what I'm saying?
They're probably walking amongst us right
They're
now.
like, all right, guys, Earth.
You ever seen Men in Black?
I've seen I love Men in Black.
I'm telling you, I feel like some movies are just
I feel like that kind
real,
of yeah.
And it's just like the government fucking with us. They're just like, ha 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 ha, you stupid motherfuckers. You like that movie? It's real.
Yeah.
It's just fucking funny because the shit possible with everything that you see nowadays, you just never know what's real and what's not. See videos of fucking people's ring fucking doorbells, fucking ghost walking by and shit. Like, what the fuck? Like, there's way more than just us here.
So you don't believe everything you don't believe everything you see or watch? Like, I be believing some of that shit. Have you seen it on Facebook?
Oh, are you talking about I believe in ghosts and fucking crazy ass shit like that? What do you mean?
You have a point. You don't know what's true and what's not true. So watching that stuff on social media is
exactly.
believe, what is true and what isn't true.
Sometimes I see shit and I'm like,
so how
that looks real.
So how are you Clemente oh yeah, I know that's fake. We can't believe. You're just you can.
Well, it's just too fucking corny, honestly.
You can fall into it, or you can be like, all right, guys.
Like when people get ran over in traffic, you could tell if it's fucking. You know what I mean? Like real people getting ran down. or if it's a fucking scene in a movie.
Mm.
You know, it's just, I don't know. Maybe I just watch too many fucking movies, but I feel like it's
You a
pretty
big,
easy to judge.
Sorry to interrupt. It
Alright,
is
gotcha.
easy to judge. Anyways, you're a big football fan, right?
Yeah.
What's going on with the Super Bowl this year? Do you know?
Well, that's another fucking
The Chiefs are
conspiracy that I fucking feel like.
You feel?
The Chiefs?
Are they doing good or
The
what?
Chiefs are fucking going to the Super Bowl with the Eagles.
With the for real? When's the Super Bowl?
It's
like next weekend.
No, it's not next weekend. It's the weekend after. I'm pretty sure. If not that weekend after that, fuck. But it's in about 2.5 weeks probably. I would guess.
Chiefs and the Eagles, February 12th,
12.
4:30 p.m.
So about
When is
a
that?
little less than 2 weeks. I thought
Yeah,
it was like
a little
2.5
less
weeks.
than 2 weeks. That's like after next week's done.
Not this
over.
weekend. Next weekend.
Next weekend.
So not this weekend. Next weekend.
Really, the Chiefs again?
Yeah.
And then
Fuck
the
the
Eagles?
Chiefs.
You don't like the Chiefs?
No, we're a Bronco nation. You can't. It's
you're
it's
right.
in your DNA
Okay.
not to like the
Sorry.
Chiefs.
Sorry.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
I mean, are you a Chiefs fan?
No, but like,
I'm
hey,
like,
fuck. I
what-
guess.
Do you have a football team?
That was one F word. Alright. Anyways, no, I don't really have a football team.
Oh, okay.
Well,
so yeah,
I'm
the
like,
Chiefs is in our. They're in our division. The Raiders.
What
and
is
the
that?
Chargers. Well, there in the
Division.
NFL. There's like the East, the South, the North, and the West. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So like, there's 4 teams in each one,
Mm-hmm.
and there's AFC and NFC.
Mm-hmm.
So like, the Chiefs are literally in our division. Like, we play them on a regular basis, like the Raiders and the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
So we do not want them to get a Super Bowl. It's
Mm.
just any real Bronco fan wants KC to lose.
Okay. Eagles.
Eagles.
So you're going for the Eagles?
Yeah, I said sad to say because I'm not an Eagles fan, but
But who do you
they're
think's
good.
really gonna win? Like realistically,
I mean, hell, you never know because I mean the
They could've
Buffalo
pulled
Bills
something
lost
out
to the
of their
Bengals.
ass.
I thought the Bengals were gonna lose. I mean, they're good as fuck, but oh yeah, are we supposed to cuss? I forgot to ask
yeah.
you. That.
No, you're good. You're good.
You just hit the beep.
I threw the F bomb out there just one time a little bit.
Yeah.
I was just like speaking a little bit and it just came out and I was like, ah,
Oh, frick.
dang.
But yeah, the Chiefs, hopefully, God willing, they will lose.
Okay. Yeah. Chiefs.
And then the Chiefs beat fucking. Oh, there I go.
No, you're
cussing
good.
again.
You're good. You're
And
good.
now then they, I can't believe that they beat the Bengals. I thought the Bengals were gonna beat them.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like,
Have you been to a ball game?
Me?
Yeah,
I've
or
been
a
to
football
a
game.
football game, yeah.
Yeah. What about
I've been to a Rockies game.
Rockies
before, too.
game? I
Yeah.
love the Coors Stadium.
Oh, it's
Dude,
pretty
beautiful.
dope.
Elegance.
Dope.
Right there.
Perfect location.
And ball area. Dude, it's perfect location. Exactly.
Between first and third base, I feel like it's like
How
the best.
how far
location.
away from you are? Yeah.
I was like, not the lowest level.
No.
Just like one.
I mean, like, how far do you live
from the.
from
oh.
Rockies? From Coors.
About 20 minutes away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So downtown's like
About 20 minutes away.
20 minutes. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. What about like Walmart or stuff like that?
Oh, I live right across the street from Walmart.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can just go shop there.
I can walk across the street. I don't even have to drive to get
You
my
do
groceries.
that often, every day.
I
every
don't
day,
necessarily use Walmart for groceries.
Okay.
Because I feel like their produce isn't really the best.
What do you use?
Preferably King Supers.
King Supers.
King Supers.
Supers.
Great produce.
They are, dude.
A1.
A.
I don't know where they get it from. Probably Mexico. California. Who knows?
Do you think the drug war is still going on in Mexico?
Oh, there's always going to be a drug war. It's just, I mean,
Do you think the
part of the
American
world.
forces are helping the drug war in Mexico?
I think they're probably funding it.
Mm.
I mean,
I think they're also
with,
yeah.
with all the
They're
task
funding and
force
fighting it.
that they created for the drug war, I feel like if they were to end the drug war, they would have to terminate so many agents. Or
You're right.
Where are they going to redirect them if they
That is
ended the
very
drug
true.
war?
So people have to get shot just to get paid.
Yeah.
But you know you're gonna get. All right, you got a point.
Exactly.
You got a point. And people
It's just-
lost their jobs. They're, God, crazy. Anyways,
Craziness.
so how often do you go downtown?
Pretty frequently.
Yeah.
When I do DoorDash, I'm always downtown.
Really? Like
Yeah.
just on your own time?
Go eat.
Mm.
Like to eat food
Me,
frequently,
dude, me too.
especially good food.
Yeah. Do you know what I forgot what the name was, but it's a cold plunge. Have you ever done a cold plunge?
No, I'm not familiar with that.
It's well, it's what the name says it is. So you just go, like, it's like taking a cold shower, but me and my friend Gabe went out to the reservoir today, and we just took a little soak out there.
You
and
jumped
just-
into cold water.
We didn't jump into it, but we just like kind of
Walked in.
walked.
Oh,
in
okay.
and
So it's
just,
that
like-
cold right now, huh?
It's real cold. It was like Nick.
Do you guys like do like a temperature check, or do you guys just, just
We
go to
just-
the water
we-
and it's
I
just
mean,
a little dip your toe and you're like, "Yep, that's cold."
That's what it was.
What?
Yeah, but it's good for your body. So
I know, it's a certain degree. Once you just dip your toe in, it's gonna be cold, but you
Yeah.
don't know the exact temperature, so
Yeah.
you just know it's ice cold.
It was. So we were just like, all right, let's do it. So
I can't say I could do that.
there's a lot of benefits for your body with that. Did you know that?
Benefits?
Yeah. You don't know about the benefits with the.
I thought that was just something that
No,
people just
so-
like to do, just like to
No.
get like a rush.
No. There's a lot of benefits with
What
that.
does it do for you?
So it's. Let me.
I
don't
thought
know.
it would give you some type of frostbite or
No.
You know.
So
because that's pretty cold. I don't even like the shower cold.
it is cold. So what it does is it's not like a physical thing. It's a mental thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like not working a 9 to 5 for you. You know, you have that mentality like I'm gonna do it. You know.
Yeah.
So this is different, but you know it's gonna suck, but it's gonna be good for you. You know what I'm saying?
So what? I have to ask. What does it benefit you? Is it like mentally?
yeah.
Or is
So if you can
So it's like overcoming something. Is what
that,
you
but
mean.
there's also like actually like physical
benefits.
physical benefits.
Is
with
it like I don't know,
So
like
there's-
set off your senses to like recalibrate?
So what happens with your veins and your arteries is they constrict. So it improves circulation. Cold water immersion can help increase blood flow, and that's what it does. And it constricts, and it's trying to
Well, you learn
keep
something new every day.
keep your core body like at a temperature and circulate all that throughout your body.
I bet your body's probably like it's
Throughout-
cold. We need to circulate.
Your muscles and organs, which can improve your overall circulation for
Wow.
that day and for overall like years, like 2 years, like 5 years, like a long-term benefit. It obviously reduces muscle soreness. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why people take cold baths. It boosts your immune system. It increases your mental clarity, like I was saying, you know, with the whole like overcoming. Hey, if I can go into a cold
Ice cold bath. Or,
cold
you know.
source, you can overcome that.
Yeah.
I mean, it improves your cardiovascular system and your lung circulation as well.
Wow.
There's a whole bunch of
That's
benefits
wild.
for it. It reduces inflammation and boosts your mood. So it increases dopamine, and there's something that goes on with the what is it? Oh man, I can't think of it, but there's a whole bunch of benefits to it, man. And it's like if you can just relax and just it's about breathing, you know, breathing and just like relaxing and focusing. I mean, I only did it for longer than
How
a
long
minute,
did you get?
but
a minute?
not longer than a minute,
Oh.
under 5 minutes. It was at least like 2 or 3 minutes. It
Oh.
was a nice.
That's
It was.
cold.
But it also like it's called like brown fat. So what it is, it's like you have your fat and then you have like brown fat. So your brown fat is something like polar bears and like cats, dogs, all those kind of mammals have, because when they're like wolves and huskies and all that, they have a layer of fur on them, and under that is like a certain type of fat that protects them from the cold. So when you're exposed to that cold weather for a certain amount of time, throughout a period of time, throughout your, I don't know, a week or so, and it increases that fat right there that protects you from, all the cold, and just like it adapts to it, you know what I'm saying? So that's why polar bears and all those other kinds of, animals are able to live in those cold temperatures.
That's
bears,
wild.
because they have that layer of fat right there
Like
on
penguins.
them. All of them, and it's good for you too to eat that. So what are they? Eskimos. So they eat fat. So
Penguins,
blubber. Yeah, up in
fucking
Alaska.
whales.
In Alaska, they hunt whales. They hunt
Imagine
seasonally.
hunting whales,
So
bro.
the blubber and the blubber fat and the skin and everything,
It's all used.
it's all used. It's not
Well, that's
going
good.
to
If they're hunting whales.
Yeah,
Whales don't
I mean,
bother nobody.
obviously.
You know?
yeah, that's true. But
You know,
they're
but I
using
mean,
it for
if you're out there,
clothes and
You kind of have to hunt what you got.
dude,
Like nobody
it's
wants
cold.
to hunt penguins, but I
And
mean,
then
if you
they're-
need it, you need it.
Yeah, it's cold, and their clothes and that like creature is gonna warm you. It's like, I mean, they're giving respect to the whale, but it's wild, bro.
Yeah, Eskimos. Oh, you gotta give them respect, bro. They live in the freezing cold. They're literally living in like the coldest temperatures ever. Like, I wouldn't want to be an Eskimo.
I wouldn't either.
You'd have to be a bad motherfucker.
You would have to be a bad motherfucker.
Fuck.
Yeah, dude.
bro. Like,
it's wild.
And speaking of those cold ass baths, have you ever been in a hot spring?
I have been in a hot spring,
Those are
dude.
fucking
Those are
interesting.
peaceful. The minerals within the water.
The salt water. That's
Yeah,
just
coming
like-
from the earth. Dude, it's crazy. It's good for you.
Yeah.
It's so hot at first, but like...
I know. I felt like I was a lobster. Just
Have you been to a
cooking.
nude one, or like...
Not a nude one, my friend. But I have been to a couple hot springs.
All right.
I haven't heard of the nude ones yet.
No, really? Wow. Okay, that's wild. I have... So how was your week, man?
It's going great so far. It's a good week.
Good.
It's,
What'd you do this week?
This week, mostly just DoorDashing. Looking at the previews while I'm chilling. There was a few auctions that closed just this past weekend, but a lot of the cars, I mean, sometimes the tow lots, they kind of make them sound a little too good, and then you go to the previews, and they're not really what they, you know what I mean, hyped them up to be. And then the people that don't go to the previews are the problem. Because it says it has a key, it says it runs, it says it drives, but like they bid on it thinking that they're perfectly mint cars, you know? But they didn't go to the preview and they didn't see that, the motor's ticking, and like it's gonna need a valve adjustment at the minimum, But if you're lucky, that's all it'll need. If it doesn't need a whole new engine, but yeah, like they just bid on them like. Sometimes I'll try and bid on those cars to, make them parts cars because I'll part them out. Or sometimes I'll just do a whole engine swap if you can find the engines and the mechanic to do it properly. But, I mean, when people just outrageously bid on stuff, kind of annoying. But, yeah, this week, this was looking at the previews, some auctions, checking out, a lot of the options coming up in the next few weeks. But I've been exploring new auctions recently. This year I'm going to try to expand my network of auctions to like increase the production. Because I feel like last year was like one of my slowest years when it comes to selling cars. I don't know if it was, just inflation or what we were dealing with last year. But it was one of my slowest years when it came to buying and selling cars. So this year I'm trying to expand my network so that, you know what I mean? It just speeds everything up and increases everything.
Good. We're going to end it out. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Clemente, is there anything you want to, how do you want me to, Clemente, how do you pronounce your last name again?
Valenzuela.
Valenzuela.
Yep.
All right. Clemente
You killed it right
Valenzuela.
Right on.
Right here. Yeah, man. Thank you for coming on. It was great.
Right on for
Talking
having
to
me,
you.
brother.
we're gonna have to
Do
dig
this again.
deeper into more topics later on.
We'll
We
bring
got a
some
lot.
special
we gotta,
guests.
Yeah, we have
For
a lot
sure.
we gotta get off our chest. But
I had fun, brother.
I clicked on something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. All right. Don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button. All right. If you and follow the Ambitious Writers podcast.
Follow my dog.
YouTube, Spotify, Instagram. Clemente, right here. Hey, you got any cars?
Any cars?
No, that you. I was speaking to the. Sorry, speaking to the crowd. If they have any cars that they want to sell, or if they have anything, I mean, you know where to find him. You'll probably see him. He's on like those car pages on Facebook. But yeah, just strike a deal with him.
Make an offer.
Make an offer. Make an offer. Thank you for having on. This has been another episode of the Ambitious Writers podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.